I believe that if you want to learn how to create happiness during your singleness, that you must, it's a requirement that you begin to practice what I like to call radical acceptance. What is up, my dear friends? My name is Tyler Joe Stratton. I am your heartbreak recovery coach, teaching you how to reclaim your life and happiness during your singleness. And today, I'm going to be talking to you about this concept that we all must begin at when we are going through a heartbreak, a breakup, or a divorce. And it might take you a couple steps in order for you to get there. You might need to face certain things and certain trials and tribulations and problems and complications. You might have to go through the shock phase where you're absolutely blown away by the idea, like, how did this happen? Where did I go wrong? What did I do? And then from the shock phase, you might move into the denial phase. Like, this can't be happening to me. This cannot be my reality. They were just here with me, now they're gone. This has to be a bad dream. And then even before the acceptance phase, you might go through this madness phase where 1 minute you are feeling like you're moving forward, and then you moved backwards because they sent you a message, or one of your friends spoke about them, or you saw them drive by, or so you might have met them, in a crosswalk, whatever it may be. And then finally, before the acceptance, you might go to a stage of subtle depression, mild depression, or overwhelming depression. And then you finally get to the acceptance phase. Now, when you move through the shock phase, the denial phase, the madness phase, and the depressed phase, and you're finally at that point where enough is enough. You're like, I am sick of this. I know that they're not coming back. I know that they're not right for me. I have done everything that I can. We now need to focus in on radical acceptance. Now, if you want to learn more about the 4 stages prior to acceptance phase, be sure to click the link below and check out the community.happyheartacademy.com. And there you'll gain more information on the 7 stages of grief that I take people through and walk people through. It's going to be a powerful teaching for you. Nonetheless, I am glad that you're here. And today we're talking, like I said, about radical acceptance. And there's certain things that I believe that you need to be able to do when it comes to moving on. And acceptance is one of those things. The sooner you accept your current reality, the sooner you're going to be able to heal. I tell clients all the time that what you cannot heal, or what you cannot accept, you cannot heal. And what you cannot accept, you cannot have the power that you need, the confidence you need, the courage you need in order to move on. So you need to make sure that you acknowledge and accept, because what you don't acknowledge and what you don't accept, you just cannot heal. And we are here to help you heal your heart so that you can create the control, so that you can reclaim your happiness, so that you can finally move on toward a better future. Now, let's dive into this whole radical acceptance. It's going to be a quick one here, but ideally, I'm trying to give you a definition of what it means to radically accept something, right? Like, we have to make sure that we have a target that we're focusing in on. So, Tyler, how do I know what radical acceptance is? We'll hang in there. We're going to be talking about that right now. Is focusing on radical acceptance, ideally, is how I explain it, is this means that you have stopped fighting with your current reality and throwing fits about what has happened. Do you know what I'm talking about? It's like that. I don't know if you have kids or if you've ever been around kids. I'm sure that you have, but there comes a point in time where you throw this hissy fit where you just the kids deny, right? They want what they want, and they only want that, and nothing else is good enough, no matter the compromise, no matter what the parents say, nothing, right? You're kind of a kid in this suffering state. And ideally, as a kid, one thing that kids do better than us adults is they allow themselves to complete the cycle. The cycle from something bad happens to them, they cry, they run to someone to get some, guidance, some help, a shoulder to cry on, like their mom or their dad, or their guide of, grandparents or whatever, maybe they run to them, they get the love that they need, the reassurance that everything's going to be okay. And then what do? They step back out into their reality, and they just accept things as they were, and they move on, and they get back, playing, with their friend, or doing whatever that it was that they were focused in on and doing. And that's what we need to help you to remember how to do, right? And so radical acceptance is this idea that you have to stop fighting your current reality and throwing fits about what has happened to you. The moment you stop throwing the fit is when you start to begin to accept it. It's like nothing that you say, perhaps even do, can change the outcome. You have to decide to acknowledge and accept what has happened instead of throwing a fit or fighting it or trying to manipulate or change or control it. Acceptance is just a matter of like letting go. And that's a little bit of a different more concept that we can talk about another time. But ideally, acceptance is a matter of not changing anything, just being with it, just sitting in it. You're not trying to change it. That's the goal. You're just kind of like, the best way I can show you physically is like, you're just kind of like release it. You're just like, you drop the bag of shit. You drop the bag of pain. You drop the bag of the past that's causing you to suffer and hurt. And now hear me out. Once you do this, once you stop fighting your current reality and you move away from the denial phase and you actually step into your own acceptance, your radical acceptance, you may oftentimes, many people will feel this intense emotional overwhelm or sadness because you have now given up all hope. All hope of a better past or a better outcome currently. You've dropped all hope that things could come back around. They could come back. Them coming into my life is only going to make me more joyful. If they were just back into my life, I'd be happy again. You believe that this idea that if your ex is around, that your happiness would come back around. And simply, I don't believe that to always be true. And that's not a secure sense of happiness, because if it wasn't that they just broke up with you, or if it wasn't that they just divorced you, but it was God's will, and they God took them away from you because of an accident, of a death, of whatever it may be at the core. I mean, you're going to lose your happiness for a lifetime because your happiness was involved into them. Now, what we need to do is help you to accept so that you can begin to let go of the hope. I know that sounds crazy, but you got to let go of the hope. You got to stop holding on to the hope of the past and wishing that the past would be in the present, because here's the truth. Your past will never, ever be the same in the present. Things are radically different. If they were to come back after all the pain that they basically put into you and had you deal with, you're going to be skeptical. You're going to be fearful. You're going to be with a closed heart. You're going to question everything. Things are going to be radically different. And it's going to be a fight for you to be able to get back to where you are. Now, ideally, at the same time, I need you to understand that you may also feel a great relief because of this idea that you can finally let go of the fight over what should have been and deal more effectively with what is right in front of you as it is. That's radical acceptance. That's what you need to move into. Once again, it just means that you have stopped fighting with your current reality and throwing fits about what has happened. So before I let you go, this is what I want you to try out and do. If you're having a difficult time accepting that your relationship is over, accepting that you're alone, or accepting the unacceptable, I want you to spend some time practicing how to accept things. Before you accept this big thing, we need to help you accept these small things. For example, you just need to, if for example, this might be a small example, but you need to learn how to accept some small things. What do I mean by that? Well, when I was originally going through my heartbreak back in 2015, one of the things that taught me how to accept things was to break my rituals and routines. I had some core routines when I was first going through my heartbreak that helped me get out of my heartbreak. I would wake up every morning and I'd make sure I'd make my bed. I would make sure that I took a shower. I'd make sure that I worked out. I'd make sure that I would always have a glass of water before I even had a cup of coffee. I'd make sure that I stretched. I did all of these routines and things that I believed that the only way that I could create a sense of fulfillment or movement in the morning to create a good day was by doing those things. Now, you probably have a couple things that are like non-negotiables. Like, no, Tyler, you don't understand. I have to do this, right? It could be having a cup of coffee every morning. It could be, I always have to work out, or I always have to have something a certain way, right? Well, how about let's not focus on that. Let's, for example, say you have to do your laundry every Sunday. Well, this Sunday you don't. You just accept what it is. You don't try to change it. You don't try to force it. You don't try to control it. You just try to accept things as they are and don't try to change anything for the next 3 days. Just allow it to be. Don't do the dishes if you're normally doing the dishes. Don't do your normal routine. If you're normally stuck on a routine, just allow it yourself to be. This will allow you to learn how to begin to accept things as they just are. And then what I want you to do is what I like to call is just sitting with it. Whatever it is, identify your problem, identifying the pain, get very clear on it, and then just sit with it. Don't try to change it. That's it. I just need you to sit with it, because that's radical acceptance. When you stop fighting your reality and you just allow it to be, that is a place where you are now empowered, and you'll be able to finally move on and create a sense of control and a sense of happiness. My name is Tyler Stratton. I am your heartbreak recovery coach, teaching you how to reclaim your personal power as well as your happiness during heartbreak. And if you found this video helpful, be sure to like it, subscribe to whether you're listening to this on the podcast or if you are on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe and share it out with 1 or 3 of your friends, and do yourself a favor and do them a favor. Be the dealer of hope. Don't be afraid to give away the thing that you want more of. Be the dealer of hope. Give away some happiness. Give away some good content, and be the light in other people's lives. People need good people. Ideally, if you need more information on how to overcome your heartbreak, create happiness during your singleness so that you can take more control of your life, be sure to head over to community.happyheartacademy.com, where you're going to learn more ways in which I help you and guide you through your heartbreak so that you can finally move on and create the hope-filled future that you've dreamed of.